We're talking with Lincolnton Assistant City Manager Richie Haynes about the new recycling program. Richie, Lincolnton has actually had a recycling program for many years.
Yeah, actually, I think it goes back into the 90s. At one time, we contracted out with GDS, which was a company out of the Hickory area. And at that time, they would come down and they would sort out our recyclables. And then that company was bought out by Republic. And then sometime, I think it would have been probably around 4 or 5 years ago, we took the program over ourselves and used existing staff and equipment that we had from when we used to do the Boger City area, like the 150. Since we weren't doing that anymore, we had that staff and that equipment to do our own recycling program. And then basically last June we were told by the Sunoco plant in Gastonia that they would not be able to take our recyclables anymore. So we had to kind of look at our program to see where we could possibly take it, and that's when we started our Saturday recycling center in September. We've been doing that ever since, and now we're fixing to start Friday with a new program that will involve a 96-gallon rollout instead of an 18-gallon tote. We'll be doing that with our automated trucks and our existing staff. So for us, it's offering the curbside program back to our residents, but it's doing it at a discount price. It was costing us about $165,000 to do the old program. We're going to be able to do this program for somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000. We're using existing staff, so it's just basically, you know, paying them overtime versus having 2 full-time staff members like we did before.
There is some confusion on some people's part about what things are and what things are not recyclable. Now, you have put into the new containers a cheat sheet, if you will,
Exactly.
that tells what things are and are not acceptable. Could you just give us a bit of an overview of that?
Well, and it all went back. I had a private hauler who was picking up my garbage and recyclables, and they did that, and I thought that was a great idea to be able to open that lid and see what you could and what you could not recycle. Because you know, when you're talking about recycling food items, I mean, there's a difference between a drink bottle versus a tray you might get at Chick-fil-A, a container with food. And so if you look on the bottom of those, it's got a number. Now, because of the restrictions at the MRF that we're going to, we can only do 1, 2, and 5. So it gives an explanation about what some of those 1, 2, and 5s are. Prime example, 1 is going to be a drink bottle, and it's got other items that are included in the 1s. 2 might be a laundry bottle or something like that. 5 could be the cap on the bottle. There are items like a milk jug, it's a 2. But then there's other items that are not included and are not accepted by the MRF, and we want the residents to know, don't put those items in. Prime example is we're not going to be collecting glass anymore. There's not a market for it. And so we want the residents to know that if that's in there, that's a contaminant. So, you know, we're trying to get all this up front so the residents know, you know, what they can and what they can't. So we felt like that cheat sheet was the best way. But naturally, if there's any confusion, call us and we can let you know what can go in. And then if we're confused, then we just say throw it away. So you know, at the very end, if we don't know, we say throw it away, because we don't want to contaminate our load that's going up to Conover, because we're only allowed so much contamination, and then we have to pay a fee or a penalty past that. And what we're doing different too, we did a volunteer sign-up program. We've already delivered, I think, over 850 rollouts so far. So the program's, like I say, it's new, but I think people are excited about it, and so we've had a real good participation rate so far. But like I say, you know, what you put in there is going to determine what our cost is when it's all said and done. for us, not only do we save on our tipping fee by not having glass, we also save on the tonnage. So that was their recommendation. We felt like that was the way the market was going, so we decided not to do glass.
Now, some people may be confused because at the county, Lincoln County
Yes.
recycling locations, the convenience sites, they are accepting glass. But as I understand it, that glass is not actually being, shall we say, recycled.
No, but they try to keep it out of their solid waste stream because they can crush it, which saves them as far as, you know, the amount or the area that it would occupy. So they're doing the right thing on that and keeping it out of the solid waste stream. But there is just not a market right now for glass. Hopefully that changes one day. If that changes, then we will put that back into our stream for recyclables. But you know, the MRF and Conover is having to pay a company to come get it and haul it off. Now I think there is maybe a place in Atlanta that they take it to, but it's at a cost. And so that was they said if you can bring it separated, we'll only charge you X amount. But if it was in our stream, it was going to cost us the $125 per ton minus the market. Well, there's no market for it, so we were going to pay a flat $125 a ton for that.
One thing that is different about your recycling program and, say, Gaston County. In Gaston County, recyclables are separated if you take them to their convenience sites.
Yes.
They have one container for newspaper, another for mixed paper, another for plastic, another for aluminum cans and so forth. Yours actually all goes into the single container.
Correct, yes. And that changed years ago. And it was basically a push from the state because they knew if they made it more convenient for the customer, then more people would recycle. And that was their idea. They wanted more people to recycle. And it's helped, but at the same time, there's only so many MRFs across the state, and those are facilities that go in and sort those recyclables out. And so by everybody going to single stream, when the market kind of closed last June, it really, you know, it made it harder for the municipalities and the counties that were doing single stream to find somebody that they could take the recyclables to. So it's good because it allows that customer not to have to sort, but at the same time on us it made it a little bit harder. We're very fortunate that we live so close to a MRF, which is a material recovery facility. If we would have been 2 or 3 counties away, I don't know what we would have done.
The recycling program, as you said, starts
This
on Friday.
Yeah.
Yes.
June 7th, yeah.
Now, and the pickups will be?
Once it's the first Friday of every month. So our next one is July 5th, which I know is the day after July 4th. But it'll be the first Friday of every month. And actually, we're working right now. We'll have a schedule on the website that'll show all those Fridays and so forth. And what we're going to start doing next year to help with the citizens with holidays and recyclables is we'll have a schedule on the website come January 1 that shows everything. So you can go to our website and see that. But yeah, there's been a ton of work that has gone into this, and I don't think anybody will be happier than myself to get by Friday. In fact, I'm going to spend I'm going to spend Wednesday and Thursday going through our routes, making sure I know what streets are going to be covered and what streets aren't. But with the participation rate that we've had, we pretty much will be on about every city street. Now it's residential only. It does not include commercial, does not include nonprofits, and we didn't include apartments because of the contamination issue, not knowing what resident might have put something in. So, it's still a majority of the people that we serve as far as solid waste.
And it is a purely voluntary program.
Correct, yes.
If someone is interested and has not yet signed up and received a container, what do they do?
And they can go online and fill out the application. If they don't have the ability to use a computer or don't have a computer, they can go to the Public Service Center, which is at 128 Motts Avenue, and they can fill out a form there. We did cut off after this weekend as far as deliveries before Friday. So if someone goes on there now, then it's going to be the next month, or not next month, it'll be after Friday before we do a delivery. Just because we've got to spend the rest of this week getting ready for the routes, basically.